Well, hello, motherfuckers. Welcome to my world. And it's day 8 of making videos every single day. And today, I want to share with you about my passion for cinema and about one of my favorite directors, Quentin Tarantino. Let's go. Quentin Tarantino, the director that's really known for well-crafted violence and the art of stealing and making things perfect. All my family knows that you shouldn't ask me anything about Quentin Tarantino because it's the topic I can talk for hours. Most of cinema fans would agree that he has his place among the legends of cinema. His movies has a big impact on cinema as an art and on the cinema that we see now. You know, a lot of movies that we see now has the heritage of what he implemented in his own movies. In my life, Quentin Tarantino as the director left really big impact. If being honest, his movie Pulp Fiction was the main movie that changed my whole imagination what is cinema. The movie Pulp Fiction, it came out in 1994 and I was 15 years old. And you know, I was a teenager, seen some movies before, you know. I always liked cinema. I always knew a lot of things about directors, a lot of things about an actors, a lot of things about movies, movie sets. I was reading everything in the journals. I was trying to watch every possible movie that I could, you know. I was renting movies all the time watching. But the first time I saw Pulp Fiction, something just changed in my head. Pulp Fiction, it was the movie that being a teenager, I had a tape at home and I watched this movie maybe 100 times, if not more, you know. And I even remember that me, my brother and a couple of friends watched that movie so many times that a lot of lines from that movie we knew just by heart, you know, we could just go through all the movie without stopping, and it was something magical. Quentin Tarantino is known really good, not only for his love for well-crafted violence, not only known for his foot fetish. If you don't know, watch all his movies and you will see people walking barefoot or people talking about the feet all the time. You know, that's also really interesting fact. But he has one of the best character developments in all cinema history. Pretty often we watch different movies and movies are so boring, you know. You look at the characters and it's so difficult to relate yourself to many different characters, you know, they have some plain dialogues, you know, they talk about stuff that you wouldn't talk in real life. But when you watch Quentin Tarantino movies, you know, doesn't matter if it's the main character or if it's the villain, you can relate yourself to almost anyone, or you can find someone who you can relate yourself to. Because in his movies, the main thing, and in general, if you go deeper and try to understand a little bit more about the way he's making movies, the way he's putting his character, he spends so much time on developing each character, you know, you can find a lot of different interviews by Quentin Tarantino where he says that he knows all the story behind his character. And by having the story with each character, you as an audience, you always feel that you can find something that relates you to that character. Every character has really strong development. Every character has really strong reason for making decisions that he makes or she makes, for making the action. And watching Pulp Fiction has several different storylines which are connected one or the other way. And in those storylines, you see all different characters acting. Some storylines seem almost impossible, but the development of characters always makes the situations, the stories, and everything that you see in his movies so easy, relatable to each and every one of us. The main thing that helps in Quentin Tarantino's movies to develop the characters are his dialogues. For example, the opening dialogue in Pulp Fiction, where two main characters played by Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta talking just about, like how they call Big Mac in Europe. And when you listen to that conversation, it seems and sounds so relatable, because it's the conversation you could have with your friend when you're traveling. And like sometimes you watch the movie and you notice that people talk to each other and they call each other name all the time. So, Andrew, tell me, Andrew, what do you think, Andrew, about this topic? We don't talk like that, in normal life. We don't talk. We just talk about completely different shit, what's in our head, about a lot of nonsense. But those, at first sight, meaningless conversations opens so much about each of us. It opens about what we think. It opens about how we think. It even opens how we interact with each other, like in those conversations. When we get mad, when we laugh, like what makes us laugh, what makes us mad, And with that, it helps to develop the character as the normal human being, not just like some dialogue that's made only like for the sake of the story. And even in this opening scene in Pulp Fiction, when you see those characters approaching the door where they have a task to pick a guy who fucked up a little bit, like they still talking about some random shit, about some shit about the guy who had a problem that was involved in some romantic relationship with the girlfriend of their boss. But I mean, that's the conversation you would have with your colleague at work. So when you're watching that opening dialogue, you understand straight away that those two guys, like they are colleagues, like at normal office job at work, when you go like to have a smoke with your colleague, or you're going, I don't know, when you're visiting a client with your colleague, like it's the conversation what you have like with this colleague, like you can talk about your boss's wife, your boss's girlfriend, and it's completely normal. And in general, the ability of not overcomplicating things and making things look normal, look everyday by adding normal everyday conversations. I think that's a really big lesson for everyone who's interested in, filmmaking, storytelling, content creating, Pretty often we try to create some art, some visual art, video art, story with making things so unnatural, by seeing, by the examples that we see in the movies, which are not that real. I mean, the dialogues that are not real, characters that are not real. If you watch even sci-fi movie, the characters still can be really relatable by having normal dialogues and acting like normal people. And the main thing that you can learn from his movies, not talking even about like perfectly crafted violence, which always makes me laugh because violence has never been that much fun as in Quentin Tarantino movies. Like, I'm not a violent guy, I hate violence, but when I watch Quentin Tarantino movie, the violence, it's just in the right place where it should be, and it always, makes me laugh. But it's not only about that. The main thing and the main lesson, I believe, that we all who are interested in content creating, in film creating, in storytelling, we should have that lesson, We should make every content, every movie, every story about the people that you could relate to, with dialogues and actions that are so relatable. I think I completed my task for today. Thanks again to everyone who are watching my videos. Thanks again everyone who are watching this video. Have a good evening and see you tomorrow.